Is it possible that there are some healthy habits specifically for women to help us get more in touch with who we are and feel more empowered? That's what today's video is about. Stick around because I have got some interesting and maybe different tools than other typical healthy habits you might hear about for women. And I'm going to offer 7 healthy habits for women. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Kim Marie. I am a transformational life and leadership coach supporting women on their journey to feel more empowered and connected to their true nature. Now, what I want to say first before I dive into these 7 is we're talking about habits, okay? And habits are something that basically are practiced, right? And we can practice consciously or we can practice unconsciously, but things become a habit. If every time we feel stressed out and emotional, we head to the refrigerator or we start doom scrolling social media, it becomes a habit, right? Every time we repeat activity, repeat actions, engage our will consciously or unconsciously, we have the ability to create habits. And so what I want to talk about today is a process of creating habits that maybe is a little bit different than you're used to. And that is honoring. Okay, when we honor something, we give attention to it. We maybe hold it in reverence. We hold it with care and gentility. We hold it in esteem or regard, right? We're honoring it. We're honoring it as valuable, as important, all right? And so when we can consistently honor something, those things begin to be more important in our lives and they become part of our lives habitually. We start to see them showing up in our lives as guides, as informants. And these are the kinds of habits I'm going to talk about today. First, before I start, share in the comments, are there any habits that you're practicing? Maybe you think I'm going to talk about certain ones. Share in the comments, get the conversation going, and let me know if there are certain habits that you feel have really helped you feel empowered as a woman. All right, the first of these 7 healthy habits for women is honoring cycles. Yes, cycles. As in your own cycle, your moon cycle, your menstrual cycle, right? And that rhythm, the ebb and flow, the process of its coming and going, right? Honoring the cycles of nature, the rhythm of nature, the cycles of, the seasons unfolding or the cycles of the moon and what's happening there. To honor them is to notice them. And when we can begin to notice them, I mean, really notice, give them attention, pause in reverence, notice that everything has a cycle. Our culture wants us to believe that everything can stay the same all the time. But if we are really going to align more holistically with nature, which is something I talk about all the time, living a more holistic life, and all of these things, all of these habits are going to help us live more holistically. This concept of honoring cycles is really important because then you start to recognize when you're on, when you're off. Maybe there's certain times of the year when you feel really motivated and driven and expressive and creative and wanting to be out and socialize. And then there's other times in the year where you don't like that so much. You want to retreat, you want to go inward, you want to contract. We have these cycles of expansion and contraction. Nature has its cycles and rhythms of expansion and contraction. The moon has its cycles. The tides ebb and flow according to the moon, right? Everything has cycles. And if we can honor those cycles and understand that it's part of life, we don't get stuck in this idea of what's wrong with me that I can't seem to maintain this particular state for very long, or I can't seem to snap out of it easily when I was able to last week or last month or whatever it is. When we honor the cycles, we can allow ourselves to be in those valleys and in those peaks, right? We have peaks and valleys of everything. So first habit is to honor cycles by paying attention to those, all right? The second healthy habit for women, honor your body. Yes, your body. How many of you can say that you can look in the mirror fully naked and say, I love you, my dear body. I am so grateful for you, my dear body, right? Very few of us. And in fact, we'd probably feel kind of weird doing it potentially, all right? Maybe you've been practicing it and fantastic to you. I spent years learning to honor my body. Okay, I spent early time in my early 20s with eating disorders and body dysmorphia and really struggling to feel okay in my own skin. And I think many of us do, and we can go back to that. We can have this habit of forgetting to honor our body the minute other things don't go so well. But if we make a practice of honoring our body, oh my goodness, we start to really be so grateful for the vessel that it is. Our body is what is able to have all of these sensory experiences and be an informant for our soul and our soul's journey on this planet. So honoring your body is such a powerful, healthy habit. Simply giving gratitude to it, noticing it, feel your feet on the earth to bring yourself into your body and presence yourself. Really allow your body to fully participate with your soul in this incredible journey of life by honoring it, thanking it, loving it, practicing those things, okay? Number 3, honoring emotions. Yes, this is such a powerful one. You might start to see how some of these pieces are connecting us with the feminine, with the sacred feminine, okay? Emotions are the realm of the feminine. Watery emotions, cycles and rhythm are the realm of the feminine. The material world is the realm of the feminine. Matter, material. Mater is Latin for mother, okay? So this is the realm of the feminine, what I'm talking about. This is why these are healthy habits for women that are so powerful. Now, men can notice these too. If you're male and watching, absolutely help them be in touch. Honor these things to be more in touch with the feminine. Honor these things in your female partners if that's what you can do to also be more in touch with that. But as women, we want to be honoring our emotions. And in this patriarchal dominance culture, we have been told, keep a stiff upper lip. Don't let them see your emotions. Emotions are a bad thing. I remember, I used to cry at certain shows on television as I was growing up. And my father would say, "What are you crying? It's just a show," and it's like, I'm crying because I have emotion. It's touching me. It's moving me. My emotions are communicating with me that my soul feels something. My soul is noticing something. My soul is experiencing something. So when we stuff our emotions and we don't honor them as valid, yes, we have a journey to learn to master our emotions, and that's a video for another time, or you can learn about emotional mastery in my courses or through my coaching. But we want to master them so that we're not flying off the handle in a rage of anger, or we're not retreating in grief or things like that. We want to be healthy about it, but we do want to honor them all as valid, not good or bad, not right or wrong, just valid. You may feel angry, you may feel hurt, you may be grieving, you may feel sad. I was so filled with hope when I recently saw a news show where a journalist, reporter, was talking about an interview he had done with a woman who has recently died. And he shared the interview, and after sharing the interview, he just started weeping and felt embarrassed. Here he's on the national television, and the anchor man got up and stood over next to him, put his hand on his shoulder and said, "It's okay, I know how close you were to her, and it's okay, this is so beautiful." And I was so moved that here there are two men really honoring their emotions, honoring the fact that it's okay to have emotion. And sadly, so many of us women have been trained that that's not acceptable, that our emotions are what make us weak. We need to honor our emotions as a way to feel more empowered as women. Number 4, honoring voice. You have a voice. You have something to say. You have something that needs to be expressed. And voice can be expressed in different ways. Maybe it comes out through creativity. Maybe it comes out through the written word. Maybe it comes out through speaking and conversation and communication. But to honor voice is to honor what needs to be spoken by you. Are you requesting your needs? I've done other videos on communication. The easiest way to get what you want is one of them that talks about this, and being able to have a powerful way of communicating. And so honoring voice is about communicating so that your needs are met, so that your feelings are honored, so that your expression is allowed and put out there. And it takes practice, right? It takes practice to speak up. It takes practice to be able to say no and set boundaries. I've done videos on boundaries as well. This is all part of honoring voice and giving space to that voice that can communicate who you are, what you need, what your values are, what your boundaries are. All of that is about honoring voice. So in order to make that a habit, we want to start paying attention. Are we saying no when we mean yes, or yes when we mean no? Are we speaking up when we're uncomfortable and something doesn't feel right? Are we standing up for ourselves? Are we expressing ourselves? Start noticing. When we can honor voice, we're noticing it and appreciating it first, and slowly we start to practice expressing it more and more. Number 5, honor your wisdom. All right, my work is so much about awakening your inner wisdom, awakening our inner wisdom, helping us to tune inward and stop relying so much on the outside world to tell us what to do, who to be, how to be, when to do things, etc. But to actually honor our own inner wisdom. Now, all of these things relate to that. Our body has wisdom to pay attention to. Our emotions have wisdom to pay attention to. Our voice has wisdom. Our cycles have wisdom, right? This is all honoring that wisdom. And of course, it connects to intuition as well. Are you honoring your intuition? Start noticing, start honoring it, start saying thank you. Thank you so much for that heads up, to bring an umbrella. I didn't know it was going to rain today, but I'm glad I listened to my intuition and brought it, or whatever it is. It can be the simplest of things, but so often we don't honor that. We don't say thank you. We don't express gratitude. We don't pay attention to it. So we want to honor that wisdom within us. Number 6, we want to honor our gifts. Yes, honor our gifts. You have gifts to share. I have gifts to share. Other people have gifts to share, and those gifts are likely different from one another. They may have similarities, right? There may be other coaches watching this, and just as I may learn things from other coaches as well, and have coaches for myself, but that doesn't mean that we're all going to be coming from the same exact perspective or the same exact gifts or creative talents. We want to honor our gifts by sharing our gifts, by paying attention to our gifts, by using our gifts. When we don't use our gifts, something in us starts to feel like it's dying inside. And some of our gift might be the voice. It might be, speaking and sharing. It might be painting. It might be dancing. It might be organizing. It might be managing. It doesn't matter what it is. You have gifts, right? And when you don't use them, something inside you feels disconnected. It feels lost. And you're going to feel so much more empowered when you honor your gifts by first paying attention to what they are, cultivating them, discovering them even. Maybe some of you feel like you haven't even discovered gifts that you likely have because you haven't been given the opportunity. But as adults, we get to choose that opportunity. We get to create that opportunity, right? All right, number 7, honor the feminine. All right, the feminine is that part of you that is more diffusely aware, that sees things, that tunes into intuition, that tunes into cycles, that tunes into all of these things I've already mentioned. Honor that feminine. Don't let somebody else tell you, oh, that's just nonsense. Oh, that's just woo-woo. Oh, that's just crazy. That's not how you decide things. That's not appropriate. This is not acceptable, right? There have been so many times when these feminine concepts have not been honored, right? Cycles, body, emotion, voice, wisdom, gifts, creative gifts. And ultimately, this all feeds into the concept of the sacred feminine and the need to honor it. When we can begin honoring these things by giving them attention, allowing ourselves to express and relate and pay and just notice more and more, it becomes a part of us. We start operating according to our natural cycles. We start letting our body inform us. We start letting our emotions inform us. We allow our voice to be heard, right? We allow that wisdom to inform us, and we share the gifts and the creativity that we have. And we become more strongly aligned with the feminine to help balance the masculine that is so dominant in our culture. And then we bring forth this healthy balance of both. It's not that we don't need masculine, but we need to bring a healthy balance by paying attention to these things. So these are 7 healthy habits for women to feel more empowered. Which ones surprised you? Did any of the ones that you wrote early on relate to some of these pieces? Let me know in the comments. I bet you thought maybe I was gonna say, it's a healthy habit to eat certain foods or exercise or, this or that. But those things certainly are important, right? Maybe your body wants exercise. When you're honoring your body, that's what you're paying attention to, or it wants certain food. Maybe your cycles want to, honor the moon time and just allow yourself to read a book and cozy up and take a bath or whatever it is that you need during that time, right? So paying attention to these things, some of the other things that might be considered healthy habits of self-care and whatnot can fit into this. But I think this is the bigger picture that we all need to be paying more attention to if we're gonna make those bigger shifts in our lives. All right, I hope this was helpful. Again, be sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel. Like, share, comment. I really love engaging with you, and I can't wait to see you next time.